Hello, hello. Is Germany still a divided country? As most of you know, Germany was split for a while. Now it's been reunified for over 30 years. Yet, there still seem to be some disparities between the East and the West. So, while I was in Dresden, I decided to ask Germans of the former East their opinions on this topic, and even some of them, their experiences in the GDR. Hope you enjoy the video.
We do experience a difficulty at the moment with the former East German states, and this has probably something to do with how the unification came across and came about. Some of the people really made a fortune out of it, but there were also, of course, a considerable number of people who were carrying a job until the fall of the Berlin Wall was important. All of a sudden, there came the people from West Germany and said, well, we do not accept the kind of studying you had. You don't know how to do this. We have to teach you all the things. And that, of course, carries a certain thing. So you will realize the difference.
Yes, 100. So I think our generation tries to become over it because it's so dumb to say this, but TikTok and Instagram and all the social media, we become one because of the German language. So we had the same trends and we can understand the memes of some other city. So then we become all one. But especially our parents' difference between East and West was very common until then. And I think, so my parents definitely brought this topic to my sister and me.
I think it's more in the head of the older people.
Oh, okay, cool.
And of course, it's still a topic in the media, but for the most of the people, I don't think it's a big issue.
When the wall fell, it's unionized Germany, but differences are still there.
It's an interesting question because my mother grew up in Munich. What was the western part, and my father grew up in the eastern part. And if German wouldn't have come together again, I would not exist. I'm very happy that this separation is away. But some, also my age, still have not forgotten it because their parents maybe lost their job or anything. And I think it's really sad because it's over 20 years more, and I don't know why it's sometimes in their head.
I hate it. I find it counterproductive because as long as you mention there is a difference, there will now never be a community of German people. Especially after now it's 35 years ago. And the only thing that really disappoints me is still that there are so many differences in payment and living costs.
And there's a big split in terms of how we understand and also have democracy, how democracy has never actually fully worked out in the way it works kind of out in Western Germany. It was just kind of placed on Eastern Germany, and it still obviously doesn't work out, and there would be way more different ways of participation in which we could make better decisions. And then it's the wages, it's the living situation, it's the economic situation, and it will probably never be the same, which is fine, but at least the opportunities to have a good life should be the same.
When you're from Eastern Germany and you move to Western Germany, you get laughed at, and
is it more of a generational thing? It's more older people, or is also younger people?
Also younger people, I would say.
And I also for myself still feel this kind of more Eastern German mindset.
What are certain things about the mindset, certain characteristics?
I think the people in the west of Germany are very hard at work, are very busy, and think they have more money. Eastern part of Germany is a little bit more slow and a little bit easy, and but I think the people say that they are different maybe, but I think we are not. We are all people.
I think in the eastern of Germany we are more about community and not so much about money. Yes, Statussymbole. infrastructure and economy.
Yeah, we value the little things.
Yeah. But I really think that's something that our parents brought to us, and I think in our generation, so when I will raise my kids in the future, I don't think that will be important.
You have the problem that the West Germans saw the East Germans as basically not directly uncultured but unused to the capitalism and the way you buy and sell things, and that basically got a lot of them to basically believe that they are kind of stupid. West Germany basically swallowed East Germany in a lot of ways. Basically they said our things are superior and we are doing it our way. Even there are a lot of points where East Germany was actually superior in handling things like family stuff and child raising, not in the educational way, but in the way to make it easy for the women to raise their child.
And people have so many experiences with what happened in 1990. And I mean, now we are in front of a big green transformation, which also has to be super social. So we can maybe learn to make it better this time. So people are very strong in their experiences here and have also suffered a lot, but have also many experiences that they value and that can also be valued in this new green transformation.
And people have like this deep fear that they can lose their business, that they can lose their livelihood because everything crashed. Like it's more having safety over expanding the business or doing something like that, but also like mindset of not trusting that everything will remain stable. You are trusting your small community, but you don't trust that politicians in Berlin will do anything for a small town.
On the one hand, I think that if you come from Eastern Germany, you have this strong experience that everything can break together because our system can change significantly all of a sudden, which makes something with your feeling of self-confidence and stability. So you are more, maybe you are fuller of doubts and with regard to promises that are made. Being maybe more cautious, less trustful in certain regards.
And the general cultural differences that develop because of the East and West Germany in general. Like in East Germany, religion was quite a lot more suppressed than in West Germany. So churches and so on a lot of them were closed or not funded as well as in West Germany. So you have a lot less religious people in East Germany and you grow up less religious.
Both came from the same background, the years of dictatorship of Nazi Germany. But whereas the people in the West were granted and given democracy, all of a sudden what you have in the other parts, in East Germany, is they went from one dictatorship to another dictatorship. That nothing else, the East Germany was a dictatorship when it came down to the state. And though from this point of view is, of course, the people were more or less formed by the state is deciding for myself. Even if I want to change something, I can't change it. This is a typical way of, as soon as it looks like professional cameras.
And so it's like automatically when people meet you and you say you're from Dresden, people don't like that, or?
Yeah. Especially when you look at the political side from Dresden, especially when you say you come from Saxony, the radical rights and blah blah blah.
Multicultural has grown, I think. It's better than in East Germany, as I would say, where a lot of fascism. People they don't like foreigners and different cultures here. It's liberal.
It's a matter of politics, of course. At the moment, like the AfD is pretty strong in East Germany, and it's horrifying but it is always looked from the West like it's just a problem in East Germany. It's just they weren't denazified enough when the Soviet Union was there, and so such opinions are there, and it's not nice to be looked down on, because it's not just a problem in East Germany. People from West Germany move in these small villages and they form, like at the beginning, for 10 years ago, a small village of, I don't know, 1,000 people would be 20% SPD, 20% CDU, and the rest wouldn't vote at all. And now, then there was like a small group of like more right-wing people, and they you don't want to live in a community where everyone is right-wing or has a specific mindset. So these other people moved out and people from the West moved in. So it's like these are pretty tight-knit communities then, and it radiates out.
It's maybe, if someone say in the East there are more little politics on the right side. Maybe, but it's different. We have many years, 3 years, 30 years, a wall between East and West, and but we also see it in the West side. It's a mind of some people there and for strange and have no opening for other people or other cultures.
I mean, I think it's also that people in East Germany think it's more okay to say they are right-wing than people in West Germany, because the big protests in 2015, and these were in Dresden. But I think in West Germany it's not like acceptable and it's not really here, but it's more normal, and more it becomes more normal, the more people just say it and just accept that they could be. It becomes a bigger problem.
On the other hand, the resentment is in a lot of parts because the big players in East Germany, the politicians and leaders of certain factions, basically sold a lot of land and stuff from East Germany on the cheap to West German investors. So you have a lot of resentment because many people lost things or places that they wanted to buy to West Germans, especially in the farming industry. A lot of farmland was sold for really dirt cheap to West Germans, and they didn't even consider selling it to the East Germans. So it was only sold to the West Germans, who now then own a lot of land and doing their own stuff with it, which of course builds resentment, because now the kind of rich landowners are the West Germans and not the East Germans that have toiled their younger years on these farms. But it would be like people from New York coming and buying 3/4 of Texas and then going and selling the Texas. This is how we live now.
Yeah.
You probably got a lot of angry Texans after that.
Yeah, that's world economic.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you do against that? I mean, in Berlin it's the same thing. As I know, they bought there a lot of flats, and it's not only in German, but also worldwide. The rent is going up because politics allow it. I'm not a friend of it, but I mean, as long as there are the possibilities there, I understand why people use it. Who would not? It's like a candy for a child.
And did you happen to live at the time when it was East Germany?
Been the first generation behind the Iron Curtain. I'm born in 63 and they built the wall in 61. And you grow up with this thinking, fucking people in Germany, you can do with them what you want. And that's a little bit the mentality from Germany, you know? Always. There. And what I mean? It's no. Sorry for my English, it's a long time ago that I speak about something like this in English.
Yes. I was 16 years old when the world broke down. I was still young. I did not suffer from the system so much, but it was still old enough to get the clue of what has happened. And I also, of course, saw how for all the parents' generation and all in between, it had much more effects on their what they were before and how they happened to get to lose their jobs and had to find a new place. This was what I meant by quite a change and even damage in their lives.
I have a good childhood. Grew up in the German Democratic Republic, and so I have a little bit experience with system. Without internet and without television, there's very interesting times. So I don't miss it. I know Dresden after the shift. Not a lot foreigners here in Dresden. Now there are more foreigners and it's more mixed now. And I think it's go better. Yes, but there are still differences, I think, between Western and Eastern Germany.
It's still divided because the West Germans have been no interest all the time on the East Germans. You know? The East Germans have been the people behind the Iron Curtain. And so we grew up in East Germany very alone. You know? And we had always the view over the Iron Curtain. But if you grow up in a prison, you know, so then, and overnight the door was open, you know, all the doors, then you have a problem. Because there was safety, you know, in a prison. You know? And so there was no life, you know, but you had your life, you know. Everything was, this was okay, and if you don't make trouble, then you make no trouble, you know. But that's not life. Life is trouble, you know. Life is movement, trouble, you know. And sometimes victory, sometimes not, you know. And all that makes, like America. You know? That's why America is the strongest in the world and the freest.
They didn't have access to the free press. They didn't have the right to decide what kind of job they wanted to take up. In particular, if, for example, you had 3 kids, probably 2 children were authorized to study, and the third, despite having the same qualification in school, was not authorized to study. That was from the state side. And of course, all this triggered a certain development. And in particular, I mean, if you had relatives like myself living in East Germany in those days, of course you would be traveling to East Germany. Whereas if you didn't, when the Berlin Wall came down, the majority in the West didn't know anything about East Germany. The people in East Germany, on the contrary, knew quite a lot about West Germany, despite the fact not authorized to travel to West Germany in those days, unless you were 65 years of age and had a retirement and pension, so you could stay in West Germany and they saved the money. Of course, this was a difference. And now, with the Berlin Wall, all of a sudden the people had to realize they looked down on us, despite the fact we knew more about you than you know about us.
So as a German, my whole world is my home, you know. So, because I traveled around the world, you know, after the wall came down. So there was a taste of freedom. First taste was Coca-Cola. You know, in the East German, in all East countries, you know. So and then you had this taste and then you wanted more and more and more. Then came the wall down. You are fucking free, you can do what you want right now.
We'll be celebrating 35 years of the Berlin Wall coming down in November, but we still experience a lot of things that we have to say shouldn't have been a topic in the year 2024.
I mean, when I was young, I didn't realize there was a big divide because I had a good school. I knew I would go to university, and I knew everything would be fine. And I knew in Thüringen that people didn't make as much money as in Bavaria, but it's, I think, very few politicians are from the East, very few football teams are from the East, very few anything that makes it nationwide is from the East. Like, it's not that we are ignored, but we are fewer people, but we are still a big landscape, and it takes a lot of social work to fill all the spaces which are left empty.
So I'm sure some of y'all noticed this video is definitely missing perspectives of the Germans in the former West, and that's pretty much just because when I was over there in places like Dusseldorf and Munich, I was mainly focused on other aspects of culture and not really this topic. However, I would love to hear in the comment section down below of Germans in the former West what they think about this topic, what they think about the responses and whatnot. But definitely I hope I can continue this topic in the future. Sorry, I just got Invisalign, so it's a little difficult to kind of talk right now. And somebody stole like half of my YouTube equipment because I left it in my gym bag. So I'm literally using my arm to to hold this up right now. But yeah, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will catch y'all next time. Ciao ciao.